Hello, welcome to How to Cook Like a Boss Without Being One. I'm Michael Hargrove, and today we will be preparing seared then baked salmon on a bed of cilantro lime jasmine rice, and then the star of the show, a zucchini parmesan casserole. Okay, so the ingredients we'll require for today's meal is lengthy, and so I have a cheat sheet. Let's see how I do. We'll need 3 fillets of salmon. We'll need 6 to 8 normal-sized zucchini, 2 large eggplants, 1 large white onion. We will need a tin of anchovies, a small jar of capers. We'll need 4 pats of salted butter, which are 4 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons of flour, 2.5 cups of steaming milk, at least a pound of fresh mozzarella or goat cheese that we're going to break into pieces for the last layer of cheese on the casserole, the top layer, at least 1.5 pounds of freshly grated Parmesan, a box of Panko. How'd I do? Look at that big brain of mine. List all the ingredients again in the video description. Let's start with our knife work. We'll need to cut our eggplant into about 1/2 inch thick coins. Likewise with the zucchini, about 1/2 inch thick. And psych. Nope, don't waste, don't waste. And we'll also slice up our entire onion. Now let's prepare the eggplant for the oven. We will be roasting our eggplant. So lightly oil a cookie sheet. Lay in a single layer the eggplant. Give it a nice little douse of a good quality olive oil, but don't go nuts here. Eggplants are like little sponges, so while it bakes, it'll incorporate all that oil into most of the flesh. Then we will generously salt and pepper this side of the eggplant. We'll turn these bad boys over and rinse and repeat on the other side. Again, salt and pepper generously on the second side. And then we will be baking at 450 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes this tray of eggplant. Now let's prepare the zucchini. We'll also have to oil these guys up. Mix it to get it all nice and coated, all of them, and then generously season, again, only with salt and pepper. Give those a little bit of a mix, and then a second dose of the seasoning. All right, let's transition to the stovetop work now. First order of business is to toast our panko flakes. Since we won't be frying our eggplant, we still want that crunch that the toasted panko gives us, and this is how we achieve that. Get the flakes coated nicely in the oil, and then once it starts to brown, don't travel too far away because things can happen very quickly. and this is the color we're looking for. Go ahead and reserve those on the side for later when we assemble the casserole. Now, in either a cast iron pan or a carbon steel pan, we want to coat the bottom with canola oil and get that bad boy cranked really hot, because we are now going to be searing each side of our zucchini coins. Really just about a minute on each side, a minute or two. We want to get a caramelization on the outside of the zucchini without cooking the inside of the flesh. This is about the color we're looking for on both sides. Then remove those from the pan and rinse and repeat the same process for the rest of the coins. Now these are going to be baked again in the casserole to finish, so don't freak out if we don't have the exact same level of caramelization on all the pieces. Now in a clean pan with olive oil, we are going to fry up our onions. Now just like the zucchini, we're really trying to just get a caramelization and keep them somewhat firm. So that's about it. It's not going to take but a couple of minutes, I don't think. Then in that same oil, and if you need to add a little bit more, go ahead, but in that same remaining onion oil, we are going to sear our salmon fillets. We will end up finishing these up for the last 2 minutes in the oven when the zucchini parmesan is finishing. So 1 or 2 minutes on each side is really all we'll need for the salmon. It's been seasoned with salt and pepper. You can use your favorite salmon seasoning if you have any. These are doused with Paul Prud'homme's Salmon Magic. About this time, the eggplant should be about finished. If not, then we can get started with our rice process, but that's not how I did it in this video. And this is what the eggplant really should be looking at before it goes into assembly. Last task that we have as far as prep on the stovetop is our bechamel sauce, which starts off with a roux. A roux is equal parts fat, in this case butter, and flour. So 4 tablespoons of butter and 4 pretty healthy tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Then we're going to incorporate the flour with the butter, making sure it's good and mixed in. And this is the kind of consistency we're seeking before we add the 2.5 cups of steaming milk. Now it's been heating up. And because the milk is considerably hotter than the roux, you'll see that it starts to cook the flour really quickly. This is where, if we're not on top of it, we can brown the roux, which we don't want to do. And I'm going to show you this angle. But by now, the roux has really come up to temperature. So, but just slowly add the steaming milk until you get the whole 2.5 cups incorporated in the roux. And we're doing this over medium-high heat. Once it starts getting close to the consistency we're looking for, we'll hit it with the nutmeg, salt, and pepper. Now, in this case, I'm not salt and peppering the sauce because each layer of this casserole has been seasoned individually. But you are going to do the nutmeg, salt, and pepper to taste. and then give it a final stir. Now you see that little skin there? This is why I do the bechamel sauce at the end, just before I start to assemble it. So I don't have to worry about the skin on the top. But if you decide not to do it this way, just a light layer of milk or wax paper on top will keep it from forming that skin. So now let's start to assemble. We start with a layer of bechamel sauce. Okay, now let's talk about making rice, cooking rice. Yes, thoroughly washing the rice is an integral part of successfully steaming rice. And it's not that hard. That's why I'm showing my friends in real time how easy this really is. Now there's an alternative to this method, and that is having a fine sieve in between the rice and the bowl. You put the, in this case it's 2 cups, you put the rice in the sieve, put the sieve in the bowl, and then fill the bowl with water. Gently agitate the rice like I'm doing here to loosen up the starch. And then you just pull the sieve out of the bowl and empty the water out. And once it is thoroughly drained, we'll put the rice into the rice cooker bowl. And yes, you do want to get a rice cooker. They're not expensive. It makes this task so much easier. You literally can do the 2 minutes I'm showing you here and then walk away. Do the rest of the stuff that's in front of you, the tasks that are in front of you. You put the lid on, turn it on. As always, it's a privilege for me to be able to share one of my passions with you. Thanks for letting me do that. If you found value or if you enjoyed yourself, shoot me a quick like, and thanks for watching.